Welcome back to Chronicle. This Memorial Day weekend, we're looking at how our community is working to honor those who've made the ultimate sacrifice. Omaha National Cemetery has been serving veterans and their families since opening in 2016. Thousands of service members have been laid to rest in the solemn facility along Highway 50 in Sarpy County. Among them, Corporal Dagan Page, the Marine who made that ultimate sacrifice in 2021 in a terrorist attack on Kabul's airport during the United States withdrawal from Afghanistan. And joining us now is the director of the Omaha National Cemetery, Jason Dolan. Jason, thanks for being here today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
First off, you're a veteran, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So tell me, which branch of service, where'd you serve?
I'm an Army veteran, 20 years, served all over the United States, Afghanistan, Iraq as an explosive ordnance disposal technician.
Thanks for your service. So how did you get into this side of serving?
Shortly after retiring, I pursued employment with the VA and started actually over at the hospital at the VHA, and then worked my way to their facility planner, and cemetery director position came open and I applied for it.
Nice. A lot of people may not realize that the cemeteries are run by the VA, right?
Right. It's a sub-branch under the VA, the National Cemetery Administration.
So tell me a little bit about Omaha National Cemetery. How was the need for a national cemetery historically chosen for this area?
A part of it is just the central location within the region. There's a pretty large gap between national cemeteries. If you know where Fort McPherson is out near North Platte, it's 255 miles west of here, and a lovely drive. Yeah. Many cornfields. And then if you go off to the east, you're going over to Des Moines to the State Veterans Cemetery there. And then to the south, there's Leavenworth in Kansas City. So there was quite some distance there. There was a NCA initiative to try and bring and bridge that gap across the nation, as it was to try and bring many national cemeteries closer so veterans have better access. And so Omaha was a good point for one of those cemeteries.
Do you know why this site was chosen, the one in Sarpy County?
Not specifically, like as far as, I know there was a lot of, I guess, advocacy for this location.
Sure.
And there was some different political players and those types of entities that were involved in that decision making.
It makes sense. I mean, with Offutt right here. Right. And we have video of when the first veterans were interred in the cemetery. It was September 2016. This is video from it. How many people have been laid to rest there so far? How many can be?
Well, how many can be versus how many there are is there's a big gap. So right now we have about 5,500 interred to date, and that changes daily. And so we are capable of interring up to and around 150,000. We have 236 acres, and we're only using actual burial space about 5 acres right now. So we have plenty of space. Some of that space that's utilized will change depending on the interment type, whether it's urns that are, generally what people are using, or whether it's casket burials. Right now we're seeing about 2 to 1 as far as interments to casket burials, so that's less space.
Who's eligible to be buried at the National Cemetery?
Generally speaking, any veteran, meaning an active duty service member or a guardsman who is activated. There are some eligibility criteria there that get into some particulars, and then basically they have family members that are eligible as well, which is usually the spouse, and then minor children who pass before the age of majority, as well as dependent children.
And can't be dishonorably discharged, right? You have to have an honorable discharge.
Dishonorably discharged will bar you from being interned in the National Cemetery, yes.
And so this is Memorial Day weekend, but you guys have things going on all year.
Correct.
Such as?
All year we have obviously our burials that go on, our committal services that go on every day. And we have events throughout the year, like we just had last week. We had Carry the Load was an organization that came, and they come through and they honor the cemeteries across the nation. We have Saluting Branches, which helps trim trees and keep some of the trees pruned across the national cemeteries. Those are volunteer organizations, as well as Wreaths Across America, which is usually conducted about that second or third week in December. And then we have Memorial Day, which is basically our biggest event, which is honoring those who have paid that ultimate sacrifice and who have fallen since.
Right, and folks have just placed flags out there. How can people get involved if they want to do something, if they want to reach out and say, you know, I want to do something for the Omaha National Cemetery. Is there anything they can do?
There's many ways throughout the year. We have volunteer organizations that's registered with the VA, and we have a robust and very active volunteer group that they help us answer phones on a daily basis, really help us with a lot of call volume. Currently they have about 16 volunteers that rotate in and out of the office every day, which is a great help to us on a daily basis. And then we have like the different organizations like the Wreaths Across America, the Saluting Branches, all those organizations that help support the cemetery. And then the volunteer group that we have, that they volunteer, but they also have another committee, which is called the Omaha National Cemetery Support Committee. Right. And they provide support in various ways. They provide some, you know, flower arrangements in some of our flower boxes, and you know, they'll donate some funds that way, and you'll see them out there this weekend. They'll be directing traffic and helping us in other ways like that. So,
you know, whenever I'm out there, I'm always touched by the sincerity and the solemnity, if you will, of the facility. How important is it to keep that mood, if you will, to keep it that respect at the cemetery?
You know, you mentioned the key words there, right? Respect, solemnity, the dignity, the respect. We're trying to provide, to the best of our ability, a dignified burial, a final resting place, a tribute, a lasting tribute to the legacy of the service and the sacrifice that our veterans and their families have made. And so it's very important to each one of us. We have many veteran employees. They take it personal. You know, it's very close, near and dear to their hearts, as well as my own. And if they aren't veterans themselves, then many of them are related to veterans, and so they understand the importance of providing that dignified service.
Jason, well, I appreciate you coming in today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.